Hi everyone, Dennis Foley from Acoustic Fields. Today we're going to talk about the sides and the rear channel. And we're going to call it support because there's some interesting things that you can do with the sides and the rear. We focus on music in our multiple channel room. Our goal is to work on music and get it to sound really good and get all the low energy problems managed, middle and high frequency issues managed. And then, it's great because you have all these channels and you can increase amplitude and in each channel, except left and right. You got center and sides and rears. Kind of interesting to have control over the left and right, although it probably wouldn't change much. But we found some interesting things with the sides and the rear, especially with music. We don't do too much with movies. We watch them every now and then, but the room sounds so good for music. We just we enjoy it most of the time there. So you got front of the house. We got a little different setup than most people do. We have a left and a right, but we have a center that's split. So we have a center channel that has a left center and a right center. So on each side of the screen, all four front of the house speakers are the same. The distribution pattern is the same. I was never a big fan of this center channel speaker on both sides. One, it's not in a vertical domain, it's a horizontal, so you hear that immediately. It's not an ideal setup. I've seen this too. I've seen it even behind the screen, but it's better to have all four speakers at the same array, and you can do that. It's not that difficult, a little more money, but what isn't these days, right? What doesn't cost more? So you just have to make more money, I guess. The goal, obviously, for the front of the house is a seamless, wide soundstage. That's what we want. I don't want to hear the left channel. I don't want to hear the right channel. I don't want to hear the split center. I want everything to kind of smooth together. No gaps, no holes. Center channel focus. I want that image to stay on the screen. It's funny sometimes. The resolution in our room is so high, you can see a little bit of delay between the audio and the video in some songs where they're singing and you can hear that it quite wasn't synced up right. So it's interesting when you get more resolution. Center channel focus, we've already talked about that. Sides and the rears. Here's the neat thing about the sides and the rears. It's mainly fill. There's not vocals or anything important in it. It's in live concerts, it's the audience, it's, some background instruments, drums. They put drums in the sides and the rears a lot. But it's interesting because you adjust the gain and match it with the center and the left and the right, you can really, push the soundstage and make it bigger, more energy in it. You got to be careful, though. You don't want to put too much energy in the rears and the sides that you overwhelm the front of the house. It's just, a support position. You don't want to detract from anything that's in the front. The left, the right, left center, right center. You don't want to detract from any of that. And you can overwhelm it. You turn the gain down on the center and push the gain up on the sides and the rears. But it's good to have balance. You want to use support. So you adjust the gain so it kind of fills in. Don't overreach. Don't overdo it. But experiment with it, and you can see that it's going to add a lot of pleasure, I think, to it because it's bigger. It makes everything bigger. It makes the kick drum a little bit bigger. It makes the vocals a little bit stronger. And it's just another little feature that you can play with and work with. So we like to work with the music. There's a psychoacoustic perception of, more is better. So you have to be a little bit careful there. But the sides and the rear can really add some presentation value to your multiple channel system. So experiment. We want the music to be focused. We don't want it all over the room. And you can get that. You can get that in a well-treated room, You got to have the proper rates and levels of absorption. You got to have diffusion criteria satisfied. There's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. It's not as simple as people make it sound on the internet. The problem with people on the internet, a lot of them haven't built rooms in their lives, and they're telling you how to build yours. And secondly, the rates and levels of absorption in their products, they're not designed really for music and voice. It's almost like, well, let's make something that absorbs sound and try to market it without really applying that frequency response that we've achieved by purpose or accident, and see if it's applicable to music and voice. Nobody does that. When I designed our foam technology, I measured over 100 boardrooms, corporate boardrooms back in the 80s and 90s. Male voice mostly, long tables, long rectangular rooms. So we learned a lot about voice. We learned a lot about how voice acts in rooms. And we learned the most important critical frequencies. And that's that 125 to 500 hertz. And that's relevant in voice, music, reverb management. Has a lot of applicable areas. So what are we doing here? We want to vary the gain of the gear in the room. Yeah. We want to have less room gain and more music gain. That's what we really are up to. So, and you can get it. It's a long process because in acoustics, as you start treating surface areas, you start to hear the others that you didn't treat. And that's good. It can also be good and bad. If you're after a complete solution, you must, look at all the surface areas and then prioritize which ones are important, which ones can fit your budget, and which ones you'll do later. And that can all be analyzed and discussed. So side and rear channel support, just an observation we use here in our multiple channel facility and wanted to pass it on. Hope this helps. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. We also have a newsletter that you can subscribe to, so please do that because we offer special price discounts to only those on our newsletter. And then don't forget about our forum. We have started a forum on our own website where people ask questions, and I usually get a chance every couple of days to look at it. There's an interchange between people on the forum, and we'll give you real answers on a regular basis, so that'll help you. Thank you.